I was so excited to get to talk to you because I loved your JFK Jr. book. And then the day Diana died, I've listened to so many times. I love the audiobook. And what I loved about that book, and it feels morbid to say, but those first few chapters, I had goosebumps the entire time. I truly felt like I was there. And of course, I was a child when she died. I was emotional when she died, but I was more emotional reading that book as an adult. And for you to be able to bring back those feelings and with such intensity was really surprising to me. So of course I'm excited to hear from you again. Of course I'm excited for a new book.
Thank you.
Specifically, I want to jump into the Prince Andrew thing because I was at Windsor. By the way, I'm Kinsey with todiefordaily.com. I run a blog about the royal family in Los Angeles.
Perfect. Yes.
And I was in Windsor in February of 2020. And one of my friends that works there said, nobody's worried about Meghan and Harry. We're all worried about Prince Andrew. And I love that you make this point in your book because no one else seems to do it. Harry and Meghan were very distraught over what was going on, but it wasn't a coldness towards them. It feels like there's chaos going on the other side. Is that true?
Oh, yes. I mean, absolutely. I mean, the chaos in terms of Andrew, or are you talking about chaos?
Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely. Andrew hangs like a cloud. Boy, the Queen picked of all the people she could have picked to be her favorite child, it's just amazing that she would pick Andrew. Yeah, I think a lot was going on, but I also think that, as I described here, I mean, you mentioned Diana, and she is, I'm team Diana, obviously. I think, she's still just, her ghost kind of hangs over everything. She transformed the monarchy and is still feeling her presence, So that's why when I focused on Meghan and Harry, yes, indeed, they were aware of all the other things going on and concerned about the effect on the Queen, of course, because at 95 now she has to handle all this alone without Philip. But I think it just added to the kind of toxicity of the atmosphere that exists behind the palace walls, and I think that's one of the reasons Meghan wanted out. I mean, I write about this in the book that the seeds of this rift were really planted in childhood between William and Harry. That the air in this, and now I see it. I did not see it 20 years ago when I wrote Diana's Boys. I thought this is this brotherly bond that will never be broken because they've gone through things nobody else in the world has ever experienced. But clearly, the heir and the spare dynamic just is doomed to failure. It's just not going to work, and the spare is always going to end up feeling trod upon, shoved in the. One of the things I hadn't realized, for example, that when the Queen Mother, until I wrote this book, that the Queen Mother, when she met with William and Harry, would talk to William, but Harry literally sat in a corner, a distant corner, because of the sense that, here is the future monarch, and this is that we're dealing with him in a different way. But these are children, so it's going to leave a mark, right? I would think, and I think we're still seeing the results of that.
Yeah, and it feels like every spare, because they didn't have that clear path, Princess Margaret, Prince Andrew, they all kind of went awry because there wasn't that picture that, just why can't they give them a role?
Right. Well, Edward is kind of the exception, isn't he? But I mean, look at the other ones. I mean, even Anne. I mean, her life, her personal life, it sort of was a dumpster fire like everybody else's in the royal family. They haven't done well with the marriages. And by the way, I have to say this too about there's a different, I'm kind of pre-associating here, but the thing that I find fascinating about everything that's happened in the royal family is that Charles made it all happen. He's the person who caused the chaos. He made this choice in love with Camilla. Camilla is the love of his life. Well, of course, if you've read my books, even while he's having an affair with Camilla, he's having affairs with other women, but during his marriage to Diana. So this guy who's going to become king, and probably not that far in the future, a lot of the chaos one can kind of lay at his doorstep, because I think he bridges these generations. He's kind of a 19th century personality there, just trying to get pulled into the 21st century. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when he becomes king.
Oh my God. I love that you said that, because I have this written down and I can't remember, because I recently read again The Day Diana Died. Now you talked about, I think in that book, maybe even in this book, that upon marrying her, they said to the public that she will not become queen. She's going to be princess consort. Well, now all of a sudden, and this is years ago that you wrote this, now all of a sudden they're saying, oh, well, she might be, we don't know if she's going to become queen. Can they get away with that?
Right. I said that before, that was a lie. That of course he always intended it to be her to be queen. And in fact, she is now Princess of Wales. So this is kind of a shell game they're playing, a kind of a smoke and mirrors, because nobody wants to offend sensibilities by calling this princess, Diana will forever be Princess of Wales as far as people are concerned. But no, Camilla queen, of course she's going to be queen. She will automatically become queen when he's king. And do you think he's going to have a coronation and then say, oh, you'll be the first, queen consort in modern history to just be ignored? Of course not. He's going to crown her, and he's always intended to. And he really needed Harry up there and Meghan to help sell the public, not only on his, he's not the most popular guy, never was, not only on his monarchy, but to sell Camilla as queen. And now he's lost really a major component, I think, in that equation.
Wow, that's fascinating to think about that.
Yeah.
You talk about this girl, which is so interesting, because so much was made about this girl as if Prince William was just saying whatever, like she's nobody almost.
Right.
You brought up a brilliant point that this girl is not Prince William's. That's not his go-to. That's actually something Prince Harry said initially.
That's right. Prince Harry is on a record as having referred to his Meghan as this girl. So there's a little hypocrisy there. I mean, there's a lot of hypocrisy there. When I look at a lot of the statements and convenient half-truths, I don't mean to be too critical, but for example, when they say they never could get therapy, well, they all had therapy. They were getting, now, not as children. Yes, William and Harry were denied the help they needed at a crucial time, but as adults, they've all been in and out of therapy. They've all helped each other get in and out of therapy. So when someone says at a certain point, well, this person finally got me the help I needed, they have said that several times in the past. I mean, Harry has credited William repeatedly since 2012 with getting him help. So why he would now the palace won't help me, that I don't understand. But I sometimes think they don't even know celebrities sometimes are very interesting in that they often believe their own PR, and I don't think if you sat them down, they really know the facts of their own life that well.
Well, I think that's a sweet, innocent. I mean, I would rather think that than we're being blatantly lied to.
Yeah. Well, there's that too. There's no question about it.
Did anything, and this is kind of like, I should save this for later, but I'm just going off my random thoughts I was having as I was writing the book. Did anything not make it in the book that it just didn't fit, so you just decided to toss?
Oh gosh, there's so much, and there's so many avenues one can go down. And of course, when we're talking about Prince Andrew, there's a whole other thing right there. Fergie, wow, train wreck, but an interesting, personal life. But yeah, I think sure, there's a lot there. I mean, I call them the longest running soap opera, because they really provide all those elements: sex, scandal, tragedy, history. What else does to this extent? Continually turn. Sometimes I wish they would just sit down and let me write, because I'm constantly updating these books, as you know, and trying to make them as current as you can make it.
Well, and with Fergie, I think she's a great example of forgiveness, because she came to the States. She was like selling blenders, Weight Watchers, really almost just humiliating the royal family. And now she's basically living under the Queen's nose. I don't know many exes that have that kind of access to their mother-in-law. So I feel like there is hope for Harry and Meghan when I look at Fergie, who there are has had some embarrassing moments over there.
Right, but there's Beatrice, Eugenie, and of course Andrew. Don't forget, Andrew's this other part of this thing. In the Queen's eyes, he can almost do no wrong.
Almost.
I mean, it's to the limit right now.
So I saw on Dan Wooten's show, he asked Thomas Markle to respond to Prince Charles, perhaps being the person that said, you never accuse him of being the royal racist in the book. It's never positioned that way. But of course, media outlets jumped on that. Thomas Markle came out to defend Prince Charles and said, I think it was just a really innocent comment. People said the same thing to Doria and I. And I think that I've always felt that way, that somebody manipulated this comment. Is that how you took it?
Totally. That's what it was all about. And it was an innocent, I don't believe there's racism within the senior ranks of the royal family at all. And look, I'm a grandfather, and I can tell you, you do speculate on these things. I mean, even as a father, are your kids going to have dark hair, brown eyes, and blue eyes, whatever? And the skin tone thing was just a kind of, here's the, this beautiful biracial woman married to the world's, are we allowed to say ginger? I've been told that's no longer. But anyway, the world's most famous ginger. Come on. Of course people wondered, and in an innocent way. And I think in a positive way, really. I don't think there's any question of that. But of course, the palace has a tendency to, the guys behind the scenes to spin things in that game of telephone they play. By the time it's finished, by the time it got to Harry, it was something more sinister sounding, So that caused yet another problem.
I love that you said.
I would love for that for Harry. Harry and Meghan too, or William. I don't know. William and Kate and Harry and Meghan have not spoken up, about this issue, and I would like to see that at some point.
Yeah, no, and I love that you said telephone, because while watching the Oprah interview, that's what I kept thinking. Like, I don't think that Harry's communicating things correctly, or they are so sensitive because they feel so alone that certain comments are not, and I'm not blaming them. I actually really do feel sympathy for them in a lot of this, in a lot of the chaos. Of course, sometimes I'm like, did we really need to do Ellen? But I do feel a lot of sympathy for them.
What did you think of that, by the way? I'm curious.
I thought it was really uncomfortable, and I wanted to like it, but I feel like I think you are who you associate with. Mm-hmm. And if you go sit down with somebody that's been associated as being a bully in the middle of an investigation about you being a bully, it feels a little like not. Yes, yeah. I did not. And then it also felt like something Princess Diana would never do, something Grace Kelly would never do.
Yeah. And by the way, they were playful people. They were fun. Princess Diana would go down a flume ride in Disney World or something, of course. But would she play these games, take direction? I mean, that was not. It's kind of unbecoming. There's a sense of dignity still. There's a line that they never really crossed, I don't think, except for Fergie selling the blenders, as you said.
I agree. What do you think about Meghan Markle's family? Because that is one place where I sympathize with Meghan. I sympathize with her because I love my father so immensely, and I talk to him so regularly, and I sympathize with her because he would never do some of this stuff to me.
It's unthinkable. It's very hurtful. I can't even. It's hard to. Yeah, I don't get it either. But there are some complicated family. I mean, a lot of those people seem awfully familiar to me. Not that they're in my family, but yeah. I mean, well,
yeah,
they're always wild card.
It reminds me of like Lindsay Lohan's family when they were all coming out and talking about what was going on in her life. It's too tabloidy. At what point are you like, common sense says I should shut up right now?
Right. And let's face it. I mean, she did extend an olive branch. Harry was on the phone to him constantly trying to make amends. And didn't happen. It was very bizarre. And you'd have to give Charles credit for stepping up, especially the relationship with Doria Ragland, being so kind to Meghan's mom and being attentive to her. And that's another sign, I think, that along with the fact that he was always very accepting of Meghan, that Charles wouldn't be making a racist comment about her.
No. I have like two more questions. Do I still have time with you? I know you popped on. Okay, perfect. Oh, thank you so much. I am loving this. I recently on my Instagram posted a picture of a People magazine with Britney Spears on it that said emailing with Prince William. How crazy is it that Britney Spears was talking to Prince William? At the time, he was the hottest young man in the world. She was the hottest young woman in the world. Is that not hilarious?
Hilarious. And they tried to get together. They really tried to get together for Valentine's Day. I think she, of course, would have liked that for a variety of publicity reasons and other things, But his favorite, as I also point out, his favorite pinup as a teenager was Britney Spears, and Harry's was Halle Berry. So that's that was predictive of something.
Exactly. So cute.
Aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, well, he was also William was also had a kind of a cyber relationship with Lauren Bush, the model who was George Bush's niece. But yeah, all that stuff is how these things come around, especially given Britney's current sense.
Well, and Britney constantly compares herself to Princess Diana, which I think is so interesting.
No, I don't quite see the comparison, but not that I'm not a fan. She's fine.
And maybe it's the paparazzi following her.
That could be it. Yeah. I think it still strikes people as unbelievable that Kevin Costner was almost roped her into doing the sequel. To
and the nude scene. We don't want to see that.
No, that would not have been. I don't think she would have. But I do think that the fact that the script landed on his desk the day she died, although you can't, as they say, you can't make this stuff up. It's just believable.
It's crazy. All right. And this is something I'd never heard before from your book, that Kate kind of really aggressively reached out to Meghan after the birth of Lily and was denied. I had no clue about that, but it didn't surprise me. I thought, of course, Kate did that. So sweet.
Yeah, she is. And she's a very kind person. I mean, you always get this from people who have encountered her, worked with her, know her. She's kind, and she gets a bum rap as being a kind of a cold fish. I think people think she's so controlled, and frankly, a lot of women have told me they consider her to be awfully thin, But she has this little tight group of people around her, maybe a half dozen people at the most, and she doesn't let people in that much. But I think when Lily was born, she could connect with Meghan in that way as well. Unfortunately, nobody in the royal family has met her yet.
Yeah.
That speaks volume, I think.
Right. Now, what would you say? I know I've seen you all over the place talking to media. Everybody's loving the book. What would you say what do you feel like is the most reaction you're getting from a single storyline? Is it the Prince Charles thing? Is it Britney?
Well, I personally, I find the PTSD story to be really very telling, because they're still grappling with the impact and the grief they felt over the mother's death, and having had, you could say, you would think the defining moment would be the time when they learned of their mother's death. I think the defining moment was walking behind her casket, and hearing that little girl in the crowd saying, "Look, mommy, it's the princess in the box." I mean, talk about a macabre position to put these little kids in. And also the suicide. I mean, everyone is taking that very lightly, but Diana tried. I mean, is it that bad? Is it that bad that it would force these women, who are very strong-willed women, to seriously attempt? I mean, Diana threw herself down the stairs when she was 3 months pregnant with William. I mean, I just think it must be the pressure just must be phenomenal, and we don't. It's hard to understand it or see it because everyone thinks, oh, charmed lives and wealth, glamour, palaces, and all this, but no, I don't think it's worth it, to be honest with you.
Well, are you going to be doing any events for this book, or are you going to be doing any signings in LA? Because I'd love the opportunity to meet you.
I'd love to at some point. I mean, can I get on a plane? I don't even. Can I leave my apartment here? I'm not sure.
Are you in New York?
I'm in New York. Yeah.
Have you seen Diana the musical?
I haven't.
Okay, I loved it. Don't be mad at me.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, I thought it was so cute. I
Oh,
saw it
really?
2 weeks ago, and I'm coming back next week, and I'm going to see it again on Wednesday night. It's just fun. Like, I get that it's weird, but it's like to be in a room full of people that love the royal family and that
Yeah.
are reacting to like shots at Prince Charles. It's just so cute and so fun. So you're going to have to see it if you
Camilla.
can.
Who plays Camilla? I would like to know that one.
Oh, I think her name is Erin Davy, and they start Camilla off as the bad guy from like scene one. So it is just so good.
I will see it at some point. I'm still a little nervous about that. Am I being unnecessary? You saw it in New York, or is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
I wonder
I
if it-
am a total germaphobe. I've been in my house for 2 years because I'm afraid of the pandemic. I've gained 50 pounds, but I could not stay away. I just had to see it. And it was so funny. Paul Burrell, they've got a Paul Burrell character. It's just hilarious. They have an Andrew Morton. It is just so funny.
Is the music good? It must
It's
be.
good. It's good. It took me a couple of, guy from Bon Jovi wrote it. One of the guys from Bon Jovi. Isn't that
Wow.
crazy?
It is great.
It took me a couple of times to hear it and then I was like, this is good. The first time I watched it on Netflix, Don't Do It. And I was like, this is bizarre. But to watch it with people that in a room are laughing and, dancing, it's a completely different experience.
Well, I will make that one of my Christmas things to do.
You have to. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I absolutely love you, and I love reading your books, and it is such a cool honor to talk to you.
Well, I really enjoyed it, and have me back anytime. I mean, you're a joy to talk to.
Thank you so
forward to-
much. I love it. Thank you so much. I will talk to you again soon, and happy holidays.
Okay, happy holidays to you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah.